Hi folks, the Filipina P here. I've been trying to make today's video for the past 4 years, but finding someone to talk honestly about it has been next to impossible, until now. It's a subject that affects over 2 million Filipinos and their families, and it's responsible for almost 10% of the country's GDP. I'm talking about the overseas workers, or OFWs. Due to a lack of jobs, many Filipinos travel to other countries to find employment, usually sending most of their wages back home to support their families. But they often pay a price they didn't expect: poor living conditions, wages being withheld, intimidation, coercion, and much, much worse. Meet Jane, a woman who spent almost a decade as an OFW. She witnessed firsthand what can happen when a Filipino leaves home in search of a better job. I hope you'll watch this video in its entirety because it's a situation that needs to be brought to the public's attention. These people sacrifice so much for the folks back home, but they put themselves at great risk.
The next day, there was a dead body. For real.
What was it? A Filipina?
Filipino.
Filipina got killed? So Jane, thank you so much for visiting my channel today and for making the time. So why don't you introduce yourself to my viewers?
Hi, my name is Jane. I am 33 years old. I work as a hotel manager. And then I decided to go to abroad for more opportunity. My aunt was, she was working in Dubai. So I was interested and I was motivated to go.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're 33 years old.
Yeah.
Are
Yes.
you native of Negros Oriental?
Yes, I was born here in Dumaguete.
Okay. Are you married, kids?
I'm single.
Single, ready to mingle? Okay.
Yeah.
So you started working at the age of 23.
Yes, yeah.
And you flew to Dubai to work as a overseas Filipino worker.
Yeah.
What we call OFW.
OFW.
Okay, so most of the time, OFWs are domestic helpers or drivers or construction workers. And in your case, you're in the hospitality industry, like hotels and
Yes,
such.
and that was my plan because since I graduated tourism and I was working in a hotel here, so I was planning if I go to Dubai, maybe I can work as related to my course. My aunt is, she knew a lot of people in Dubai.
Okay.
So she told me, okay, if you come here, there's a job waiting for you. So
okay.
they,
You didn't go through an agency.
No. If you have a family in Dubai or you have relatives or even friends that can provide like the sponsorship,
Okay.
so they just need to provide the documents that they can support you the time that you are in Dubai. So in my case, my aunt told me, okay, you can come here and we can give you the visa and I will be your sponsor.
Okay.
So, and that would be the easiest way, like the easiest pathway to go to Dubai. Whereas if you apply through agency, it will cost a lot of money. They will take, I think, maybe 100,000 or more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100,000 pesos or more for just...
Yeah, and so yes, I went to Dubai and she said, okay, this is your, and the visa before as a tourist is for only 1 month. They keep on changing the law. So like this year, this is the law that you can work as a tourist visa for a month, and then the next year they will just change that. Like this, they don't have a specific or a certain type of law. They can just change it anytime.
This sounds like, Filipino laws as well.
Yeah. So
Okay.
So usually that is the pathway. Like you will go there as a tourist visa, and then you will apply for a job, and then if there's a company that can provide you a working visa, then they can just change it.
Okay.
So,
But the other way is look for an agency, an actual licensed agency, to avoid any
yes,
illegal procurement of people. Like, because some people, they just they're not really accredited, and that's when things start to go wrong.
yeah, it happens all the time.
Right. So most of the time with people who don't have any relatives, they go through an agency and they will submit tons of paperwork,
Yes.
right? your credentials and everything. You have to go through
a
training.
Yes, exactly.
And also you have to pay a placement fee.
Yeah.
That's what they call it.
Yeah, placement fee.
The big chunk of the money, the agency usually gets the bigger cut.
The bigger cut, yeah.
Okay.
Because they're the ones responsible for the documents and for the training. And
how about room and boarding and everything?
No, because when you arrive in Dubai, they will just like send you out, like, okay, this will be your boss, or this is the house that you're gonna work at. And the sad thing is, most Filipino, they pay for the placement fee. They pay for all the processing the documents and all this stuff. And when they started working, some agencies will deduct from their salary.
But was it already written in the contract? Do they know that it's gonna happen?
Some agency will inform the domestic helpers, but most of them they don't know. They will just inform them, okay, when you arrive in Dubai and you started working, we're gonna get like 5 or 10% of your salary.
Income?
So you
monthly income? Is
monthly income.
Okay, so it's not like a one-time deduction?
No, and they will say maybe for the whole year we will deduct your salary with this type of percentage.
Okay.
So it's sad. I mean, imagine paying all the documents and all the providing the placement fee, and then they're still gonna ask for a percentage.
How much do you think they earn for a domestic helper back in Dubai?
15 to 20,000 pesos.
15 to 20,000 pesos
Yeah, with
per
free
month.
yeah, with free accommodation and food because they're staying at home.
Right.
But the working hours, it's not like the same with working in sales, or if you're working outside, that you have like 8 to 9 hours maximum. If you're working as a domestic helper, you start at 6 in the morning and until 6 the next day.
6 the next day?
Especially if your boss has kids. Some of my friends who work as a domestic helper even tell me, we don't even eat like on time. Like we eat lunch at around 4 p.m. We eat breakfast at around 2. Because you cannot just tell your boss, okay, boss, I'm hungry. I mean, you need to finish your job before they can give you food. And what is like left over, that's for you.
For a domestic helper, it's the range of their salary is between 15,000 to 20,000 pesos. Because here in the Philippines, in Manila, I think it's about 7,000
7
pesos.
to 8,000.
Yes.
Yeah,
so I understand why most Filipinos, would choose to go abroad.
I didn't have any experience or any idea about Dubai. I don't know about the transportation, the people there, and even the language. So I said, okay, I will go. And when I arrived there, I started working in an logistic company because the owner of the company was my aunt's friend.
Okay.
He was Lebanese. When I arrived there, he interviewed me and like very...
Just for formality because you're already hired, right?
Yeah, but not formality because he was asking me like very like sensitive questions like, are you single, or do you have what are your experiences in bed?
In bed?
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I never thought that he's gonna ask me that.
Why? Is it gonna be part of your job?
So that was for me, okay,
that was like the first red flag.
Yeah, it's not gonna work. So I went back the next day telling that I'm not pushing through with the job.
With the job. Okay, so you declined.
I declined because same day we went out for coffee and he started like, touching my legs inside the car. So that was for me like, no. And for me, I mean, I was 22 years old
at that time.
Yeah, I was 22. And I was...
So he was like touching you in...
Yeah, Jane, what do you want? And I was like, you don't need to touch my legs. So I went back home and I told my aunt, I'm not going. I don't want that job. So I told her the story and she was even surprised, like, oh, and
Was she okay with that? Did you...
No, she called this guy. And
okay, what did the guy say?
I said, no, I was friendly. I treat Jane like my sister. What sister? And you're touching my legs. How come?
Is that how you treat your sister?
And you're asking me about my personal experiences, which is not appropriate. It doesn't like match with my job description.
Right.
So, and the guy was calling me, Jane, are you sure?
Did you guys report it to the police?
No. And so my aunt told me, okay, you're gonna start looking for a job. So that was the time I was making my resume and my CV and all this stuff, and I started sending it to other companies. So I have 1 month tourist visa. So I must look for a job within that span of time. So I was applying, I had interviews, blah, 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 blah. And then last minute, I only have 2 days before my visa will expire.
Uh-oh.
So there is a company who called me. It's a water park in Dubai. So they called me, okay, Jane, you passed the interview, and then you need to go out from Dubai. It's like that was the procedure before.
Okay.
If your tourist visa is expired, you need to go out from the country to go to the airport to have it stamped.
Okay.
It means that you
left the country as a tourist.
as a tourist.
Okay.
And then you're gonna apply for another tourist visa, so you can go back. I went to Kish Island. It's a small island in Iran. It's the creepiest experience I had. They said that you're not allowed to go out and you have to wear the
hijab?
Yeah, the hijab. I was wearing the hijab and I was wearing the long sleeves. My company told me that, okay, Jane, you're gonna stay in Iran for 3 days.
Okay.
And then your working visa will be released. So I took with me 2 pants, 2 t-shirts, but I stayed in Iran for 21 days.
21 days!
Imagine staying in Iran for 21 days with 2 pants and 2 t-shirts, and that was insane. And when you arrive there, you will see and meet a lot of Filipinos, and I was
in
thinking,
the same situation
in
as
the
you.
same situation, and some of them stayed there for 2 months already, and even a year, because they don't have visa.
Who's paying for their food, the
They're
accommodation?
working there.
Ah, okay.
Prostitutes.
Oh,
Yeah, and some even get married with Iranians just to survive.
just to
Because-
survive.
yeah.
What did you do? Did you have enough money to?
My aunt was supporting me, but it was not enough, and because you need to pay for the hotel, and
While
you're-
waiting for your visa to come out. Okay.
you're waiting for your visa, and then they said, and the creepy story is that they will tell you, okay, at night at 12 midnight, if someone knocks at your door, you should not open it. So I was like, okay, this is just they're just joking, or maybe it's just a drama. We were staying in one room. We were 13.
Is that a hotel or?
Yeah, it's like a hotel,
Uh-huh.
but it's not really super wow. It's just for us to stay. You
Okay.
can see bed
Like a
banks.
hostel?
Yeah, a hostel.
Cheapy hostel. Okay.
And we were 13 inside the room.
13.
13. Yeah, so
How did you manage to
we survived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like on top of each other?
Yeah, some beds were just we sharing one bed. 3 ladies were sleeping. So 5th day, that was the time that I said, okay, this is for real. Someone was knocking at the door and it's
Very loud?
loud. So we were panicking, and we pushed the bed, and we tried to put
So who was it? What was it? And
guys, and
are they trying to look for
yes,
prostitutes?
because the next day it was a story that I thought it's not true, but the next day there was a dead body. For real.
What? Was it a Filipina?
Filipino.
Filipina got killed?
She was killed. Really, that was even the reception when I arrived, and he told me be careful.
Be careful.
Imagine same day and the guy will tell you be careful, because I was so white and
Oh, it's sought after there?
yeah, and because most of the guys, especially Iranians, they're not allowed to get married if you don't pay for the
wife's
door-
family?
Yeah, so
The dowry?
most of them are really
Sexually deprived.
yeah, and even if men, if you're a guy and you're white and you don't have beard. So that was insane, and I didn't have enough sleep. I was thinking, oh my God, maybe the next day someone's gonna knock at the door again and blah blah blah.
So how many times did it happen?
Twice?
Twice?
The whole
Someone
time
knocked-
I was there. It was, and we were trying to put some
Barricading the-
barricade so
Okay.
that they cannot go inside. So it
Okay.
was creepy, and then so I stayed there for 21 days. One day when I received an email, because you can go to the coffee shop where you can check your emails and all this stuff. So when my visa was released, so I flew back to Dubai, and I started working in a water park
Okay, as what?
as a guest relation officer. So my job was to entertain guests and to
Okay.
assist them.
That's what we call GRO.
GRO, yeah.
It's a joke because guest relations officer. GRO here in the Philippines is a prostitute.
Prostitute, yes.
But that's actually a job. It's an actual job description, guest relations officer. But in your case, that was the
yeah, so
Yeah,
I
okay.
was assisting guests, and
okay.
So I worked there for a year and 1 year and 5 months
Okay.
because our company started not to give us salary. We didn't receive our salary for 5 months,
Oh no, how did you
and
manage to survive without
you have to survive.
how do Filipinos survive without money there? Do you guys
You
like
have to borrow from your friends,
friends?
from your family, and the issue started when my supervisor, he was Egyptian. He started courting me, sending me flowers and perfumes, and okay, oh, here we go again.
Here we go again. Okay.
Here we go again. Especially if you're new. I mean,
Okay,
if
you're like
you're
the
like,
fresh
ah,
meat.
yes, like
Okay.
okay, what, still fresh, and you don't have experience and touch. So,
So they thought you're like okay. Did
and
they ask
because
if you're a virgin? Because they're
yes,
like big.
yes, and I was virgin that time.
Okay.
So when they know, it's just like, ah, they become crazy. Okay,
Like
really, those like dogs, you know.
like okay.
When I started like ignoring him and declining his offers, and
Why was he married? Was he good looking? Was
he was single, but he was not good looking.
not your type?
Yeah, and most of like the Egyptians, they're
Yeah.
really like rude. They rude,
Rude?
and yeah, and they're known for their very like, I'm not stating like all, but
Yeah.
most of the based on our experience, they have this attitude, you know.
Okay. So
Yeah, so I
all right.
started declining, and then he was mad. He's not giving me breaks. Okay, you're not allowed to eat lunch. And then he was like shouting at me in front of the guests. And okay, this is not good. Whenever we go to the locker, and he was
Yeah.
just like, Jane, come here. And so like, okay, this is not
Dragging
touching my
you?
back and my hips. I mean, this is, and you feel like there is really something, you know?
Okay.
It's not like a friendly touch. So that was for me very alarming. Sometimes he will ask me to go out for like, Jane, we need to get to the office to get some supplies. I was trying to take off my top and trying to kiss me, and I was like fighting because for me I didn't have experience
Okay.
with men that time because I was you know,
Mhm.
and so I was like crying and sobbing, and I was begging him, okay, I need to go. And
Were you screaming for help? You were
yeah, and I was
asking for
thinking if
help?
I go to the police station and I don't know if what's gonna happen. I took my top, and I was like, you know, I'm just wearing my bra inside the car, and I was crying. But maybe he realized that, okay, this
This
is
is-
yeah, this is wrong. So
Mhm.
it took me. He drove me home. So I went to the HR,
Okay.
and the HR was my kabayan.
Okay, kabayan is like fellow Filipino.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's Filipino.
And she told me, we cannot do anything about it. It's like, what? How come? Do you allow this type of attitude in the company? I said, no, because she's making dramas. And that was the time I told myself, okay.
Wow, your
Kabayan.
fellow Filipina HR.
Yeah. I was really like devastated when she told me we cannot do anything about it. You want to talk to our boss? Our boss was like the
It should
local.
have been reported to the police.
And she told me, oh, this is gonna be an issue and blah blah blah. You need to go. And for me, I was like scared. Like, okay, whenever we think about police, when you're in that place, it's like big issue already.
It's a big issue, and it's
Yeah.
not. They're not gonna be on your side.
Yes. So they gave me before it happened. They gave me an award as the colleague of the quarter. But after that incident with my supervisor, they terminated me. Because he made some issues that I'm
Okay.
not performing well, I'm not wearing proper uniform. So to make the long story short, December 25, I got terminated. Christmas!
Christmas, you
Imagine
got-
Christmas Day, I don't have a job. Whenever I think about it.
Yeah,
Oh
that
my
must have been a
God.
traumatic experience. Like,
Never-
well,
yeah.
it is a traumatic experience. Like, oh my goodness.
And you feel like, you know, you're very innocent. And I was young that time. And
Mm-hmm.
so for me, like having those repeated incidents,
Right.
it's really like traumatic. And I was telling my aunt, I want to go home. Can you
Okay.
book me a ticket? I really want to go home.
Now, I know how much you hate two-parters, but there's just too much to the story to cover it all in one. So please join me again on Friday for the conclusion. You don't want to miss it.